Hey everybody, it's your favorite Big T, and I'm back with another video. Today it is Friday. Hallelujah, it's Friday, March 10th. I hope you're having a great day so far. If you could do me a huge favor, if you've not done so, please hit the subscribe button down below. I woke up this morning and saw that I hit 4,000 subs, so yay! Thank you very much. I'm so very thankful for every single one of you who have subscribed to my channel. I had no idea that I would hit 4,000 this fast, so thank you very much. Now we're on to 5,000, so let's get it, right? Leave a like, leave a comment, let me know what you think about this video. Also, I want to say that I did record that Kiana Doshuti video that I was talking to you guys about in another video, and YouTube actually took away the monetization because there's like a 10-second clip where there's a song used that Kiana used in her video, and so I could not monetize my video. And I thought that that was very, very unfair that because of a 10-second clip, that a 40-minute video with a lot of commentary on it, I would not be able to make money on it. But all that money would go to the copyright owner for a 10-second clip. I'm like, that's stupid. Why am I going to give up my monetization, and the money that I earned from my reaction would go to them for a 10-second clip? So I'm like, all right, I'm going to put it on my Patreon because I'm always looking for more content to put on my Patreon. So if you want to be a Patreon supporter of this channel, I'm trying to earn some money to get a microphone, to get a webcam, to get a desk and a chair and stuff like that so that I can improve my video quality. And I thought the best way to do that was to earn that money by creating exclusive content on Patreon. So if you want to go over there, it's only $5 per month, and I'll leave the link down below, along with other links that if you want to become a supporter of the Big T Bariatric channel, become part of the family. There's a Discord, there's a Facebook, there's a Twitter. I got all kinds of ways to connect with me, and my email, bigtbariatric@gmail.com. So I appreciate everyone's love and support. I am thinking about creating a $1 tier on Patreon for those of you who just don't really want to spend $5 a month, but hey, I have 4,000 subscribers now. I'm only trying to raise about $800 to get the stuff that I need. So if there's if I can get 800 of you who are willing to spend a dollar for exclusive content, then I might be more successful at raising the money that I need. But otherwise, pray for me as I look for a better job. My current job is not doing too well right now. They just don't have the content to assign to me. So anyways, let's get on with this video. It's Syreeta's journey, another season 11 wild moment. Let's see what happens. Let's get into it right now.
You fill yourself with food, and you don't seem to get that. And I'm not sure your family is getting that too.
Don't get me wrong, Syreeta's story has all the junk food and jaw-dropping drama that every other episode has, but there's something different about Syreeta's spirit that makes it hard to stop watching her episode. By the end of this video, drop a comment down below and let me know if you feel the same way.
I mean, it's always great when someone has a positive attitude, a positive spirit about them. When you have an infectious spirit like that, you get people to rally behind you. And when you're positive and you're joyful, despite the trauma that you went through, despite the frustrations in your life, you're going to be more successful at losing weight than people who are just constantly miserable.
They will be breaking down Syreeta's incredible journey despite all the odds. Before I get started though, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Plot Twist for more. Now let's dive right into it.
I don't sleep well at night at all. I'm scared to sleep, if I could be honest about it. I'm scared that I'm not gonna wake up. I got doctors tell me I'm too big. So
I mean, that's definitely one of the things that comes along with being morbidly obese like that is sleep apnea. If you don't know what sleep apnea is, you usually have a lot of fat around your neck and throat area and even over your chest that it actually compresses when you lay down. And so it prevents air from entering your airway and getting into your lungs. And it can be a very scary thing to have, especially when you're morbidly obese, because it is a result of excess weight. Even my best friend Steve, who was only 50 pounds overweight, he had severe sleep apnea. So it's not somebody who's morbidly obese. That just makes it much worse. So you could be 50 pounds, you could be 20 pounds overweight and still have sleep apnea. So what happens is your brain realizes that you're suffocating, and so it wakes you up. Not all the way. You don't like wake up, but your brain just kind of like signals that you're not getting oxygen, and so it can't go into REM sleep. you really need to get into REM sleep to have a good quality sleep. You go into REM several times per night. But if you have sleep apnea, you don't go into it at all because you stop breathing dozens of times per hour, hundreds of times per night. I mean, that's scary. You stop breathing hundreds of times per night. And so what constantly happens is that your brain can't go into REM because it needs to wake you up in sort of a weird way. You just wake up so you can start breathing again. And you suck in air, you're like, oh. Like if you ever hear somebody who snores really loud and they just, just kind of a weird snore like that, that's because they stopped breathing and their brain woke them up and told them to breathe. And so minutes later, they stop breathing again. Their brain wakes them up. And minutes later, they stop breathing and their brain wakes them up. So that constantly happens throughout the night to the point where you don't ever get into REM sleep. And so you wake up exhausted, you wake up with a headache, you feel like crap. And so what a CPAP does is it forces air down your throat, not abrasively. I mean, I haven't had any problems with my CPAP being too abrasive or anything, but it actually forces enough air down there that it opens up the airway passages and allows you to get into REM sleep. So that's a long version of what sleep apnea is and how it's difficult for overweight people. It can be scary because if you have severe sleep apnea, you can be too big that you might not even wake up at some point.
Syreeta says she's scared to sleep because she thinks any morning she might not wake up. I know that's because of her size, but I can't help but think it might be because of all the bugs also.
I'm thankful for my current living situation because not everybody got a roof over their head, but at the same time, it's challenging.
She says she's thankful to have a roof over her head, and I like that about her, but her house is really falling apart at every step.
The floor is unleveled and uneven and it's weak, so I'm scared that I may fall through the floor.
No.
Oof, that's a really, really scary thing, especially at that size, because you're always scared of falling through the floor, of breaking furniture when you sit down on it. So that's just one of the bad things about obesity. But it reminds me of the house that I lived in Texas. I mean, there was bugs all over the place. The floor was rotted in several places, and you could actually see through to the ground. Roaches infested the place, all kinds of bugs, and it was just nasty, nasty.
Oh, literally at every step.
I fell through the floor literally just a few days ago, but my son fell through first, and I ended up falling through again.
The floors are creaky and uneven, and in this vulnerable moment, Syreeta reveals that she fell through the floor the other day, and so did her stepson. It's hard enough to live inside her massive body. Falling through the floor should never be on someone's everyday life.
I mean, a house like that sounds like it's on its way to being condemned, and I don't even know how much longer she's going to be able to stay there. But that's the problem with being obese, is you don't really have a good source of income. You might be able to get disability, but you might not, depending on your judge. But yeah, I mean, it's very tough when you're falling through the floor. And it looks like they just pile up all kinds of junk, which breeds cockroaches and other bugs and just makes the situation worse.
Bingo card.
Oh, my knees hurt.
There's trash and garbage everywhere, as if it wasn't already hard enough for Syreeta to maneuver around with all that extra weight.
I crawl up the stairs. I tried not to depend on my family so much because sometimes they enable me a little too much.
She even has to...
I mean, it sounds like she's like very, very close to being so immobilized by her weight that she won't even be able to go up and down the stairs anymore. So she'll either be stuck upstairs and won't be able to go downstairs and shower and make her situation worse, or she'll actually be stuck downstairs and not be able to go back up. I mean, she's really close to that point.
To crawl up the stairs because it's hard for her to move around.
So I try to depend on myself before I ask for help.
I don't want to judge, but it looks like it's very hard for her and her husband to clean also. And by that, I mean, I don't think they ever do.
Me and Lawrence are packing up to move to Houston. I've been in Ohio for too long already. I just know that I'll do better with my weight loss if I can go down there and get situated.
You can even...
But her husband, boyfriend, I forgot, did they say that it was her husband? Either way, he looks small. Like, why isn't he cleaning? I mean, I'm not like blaming him for anything, so don't come at me and say, well, he's probably got a lot on his plate taking care of her. That's true. But, she's not doing nothing, but he looks like he could at least pick up a little bit, contribute to the household in some way. But he's busy enabling her, I guess.
See roaches climbing on the wall and other bugs flying around. This is what happens when you cook every meal from your bed, but I guess she and her husband Lawrence have no other means of doing it.
You ready for breakfast? I am. I want to do bacon, egg, and cheese sandwiches with some pizza rolls.
Bacon, egg, and cheese sandwiches with pizza rolls? That's kind of an interesting breakfast, but it seems like her husband is sort of hitching on for the ride. He's not doing very much. Just kind of laying there with her and doesn't clean. Just enables her, get her whatever food she wants so she stays fat. So I hope he's not the feeder type, but
Go grab that, and I could just stuff set up here.
Just like all other 600-pound patients, Syreeta starts her day with as much food as she possibly can. The first thing she asks for are bacon, egg, and cheese sandwiches with some pizza rolls. Yes, very healthy start.
This is the only real relationship that I've ever had to the point.
hey, I enjoy me some pizza rolls, okay? They could be pretty good, but at the same time, they're really nasty, and that's hard to explain. But after I have eaten pizza rolls, I always felt like really weird. I don't know if it's just the salt content in them or what, but I always got like headaches and just felt really crappy after eating pizza rolls. But they taste pretty good.
Where I actually genuinely in love with that person. We're going to here for, what else are we going to here besides chips?
Next, Syreeta and Lawrence head to the supermarket to pick up some feed for the week.
You know what I don't understand? How your car, well, your car, it's not littler than mine, but I get out your car easier than I get out my own car.
My car not built like yours.
Syreeta is able to walk a few steps, but only in the direction of an electric scooter.
Meal-wise, I probably eat twice a day. But as far as snacking-wise, that's every day, all day, constantly.
She says she eats all day long, constantly.
Oh, these are so good.
How about these right here?
Oh, yes. Honey barbecue. I actually like those. You want some cheese balls? I like cheese.
Yeah, someone who snacks constantly, like, they don't have the capacity to make big full meals. So they only eat once or twice a day, a big full meal. But it looks like it's just very easy and very cheap to just pile in your cart all kinds of cheap snacks, such as chips. Yeah, you could eat a whole bag of chips, and that's a lot of calories. But if you're eating several bags of chips and cookies and desserts and pizza rolls, which you can just easily microwave and stuff like that, you're not cooking a whole lot of food, but it allows you to snack all day long, and it's not too expensive.
She goes down the narrow aisles and picks out what she wants to eat, and Lawrence helps point out which snacks look best.
Hey, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Doing pretty good yourself.
That's good.
Wow, so she has a full cart full of snacks and crap, and he's got a cart pushing behind her with more snacks and crap. I mean, it really looks like a food addiction at this point.
I opened these, so let me get those to you.
By the time they approach checkout, she's actually already opened a few bags and started eating in the aisle.
I think I should get some plates so that meatballs can be separate.
No, I'm mixing all mine together.
That looks really dangerous. Upstairs in your bedroom that you can't even stand up and cook, but you're piled all this junk and clothes and paper and everything else around it. Like, that's a recipe for a fire, and if you start a fire, you're likely not going to make it because you're not going to get down those stairs fast enough to outrun that fire. I mean, so she is really playing with her life at this point in more ways than one.
For dinner, Syreeta makes cheese pasta with meatballs, Texas toast, and some vegetables.
Let me know when to stop, because once I get a hold of this pie, I ain't sharing.
She pours a small bowl for Lawrence and eats the rest of the giant pot all to herself.
Now, as day-to-day goes by, it's really hard for me to actually move around because I be in so much pain just to walk to the bathroom.
You eating too fast.
You know I got chipmunk cheeks.
She laughs and says she has chipmunk cheeks. I bet she wishes she really did, so she could store food inside for later.
I'm hungry. Well, I got chips for now, so I'll just open those up, but I don't know if I'll get along with Dr. Now. I've heard a lot about him, and it sounds like he's a tough love type of guy.
That's one thing that overweight people don't like. It's someone who's tough love. I get some negative comments here on this channel because there's times when I do offer tough love, but really it's Dr. Now who holds a lot of these people accountable for the very first time in their lives. They have family members who enable them since they've been a kid, allowed them to get away with whatever they wanted, and I did that video on enablers before, and a lot of the times they do it because they feel guilty, like they did something that made their family member get so big, and they feel guilty, and the only thing that they can do to help them out is to keep giving them what they want. Or they're afraid that the person would throw a fit and get angry and scream at them if they didn't get them the food that they wanted. So if you've been around enablers your whole life, you've never, ever been told no. And so when you start getting involved in a program like with Dr. Now or any bariatric surgeon that suddenly decides like, hey, we're going to offer you some tough love, we're going to tell you what you need to hear, we're going to get you on the right path, they don't really like that because that's the first time they're being held accountable and that they have to suddenly go strict. And it's not an easy thing to do. So that's why a lot of these people throw huge fits. And Dr. Now kind of gives it right back to them like, hey, you know, either you're going to do this or you're going to fail. Like, you have no other option.
So I just hope that I can get along with him enough to get him to help me.
Scene after scene, she's been inhaling food, and it's easy to see how much her mood improves as soon as she gets some good grub in front of her.
I had a horrible childhood. There was nothing sweet about it.
Syreeta says she's had a horrible childhood, and there was absolutely nothing sweet about it. Sadly, that makes sense why she shoves sweets down all day long.
All the stuff I went through, a child should have never went through.
She was unfortunately a foster child and feels no child should ever have to go through that.
Moving around from home to home. And more often than that, I was abused in these homes. And by the time I was 8 years old, I had been physically, sexually, and mentally abused. That was
Oof. Yeah, I talk about that myself, how I was physically, mentally, and sexually abused. And a lot of it, I wasn't going from foster home to foster home, so that probably was even worse than what I went through. And that's really scary, not knowing who you're going to. If you leave one abusive situation and you're like, okay, I'm going to this new family, I really hope they don't abuse me, but then you end up getting abused by so many different ways, so many different people, I mean, and yeah, that's a lot of what happened with me because I did move back and forth between my mom and my dad, and they were fighting over us. And then when I lived with my mom, she often could not afford a place on her own, and so she often had friends that we moved in with and different roommates, and they would abuse us in different ways. And my stepdad abused me and tried to kill me, and I was raped by a male member of my family when I was a kid. I mean, it's just so much trauma that builds up, and you just learn to find anything that can make you feel good, that can transport you away from your miserable life. And food is usually one of the most easily accessible things because you constantly go out for fast food or because food is always there. I mean, I remember one time I was slapped across the face and beaten because I ate a Pop-Tart in the morning. I guess somebody we were living with did not like that because I didn't ask for the Pop-Tart, and so they beat me for it. I mean, it's just something that happens, and so you develop an unhealthy relationship with food because it has that sugar, it has that addictive quality to it, and you fall in love with it, and you just end up growing into a toxic relationship with it.
mentally traumatized.
She was put up for adoption at 2 years old, and by the time she was 8, she was abused in every way imaginable, from sexually to physically to emotionally, you name it.
So I started joining friendship groups on social media, and that's how I met Lawrence. Lawrence told me that he thought big women are sexy, and one thing led to another. We dated long distance for 2 years.
Syreeta met Lawrence online and dated long distance for 2 years.
Let me ask you a question. Now, when I got with you, I was big. When we got married, I was big. So now I'm actually trying to do something about it. How does it make you feel?
On the drive to Dr. Now, Syreeta asks Lawrence how he really feels.
Are you excited about it?
I can't really say I'm excited.
Well, that says a lot right there. I sort of realized who he was right from the beginning. He's a feeder. I mean, when you get with somebody because you like fat chicks or you like big guys or whatever, like the success rate of them actually losing weight and getting healthy is not going to be very good because the person that you're with likes you being that size, and so they're going to do whatever they can to enable you to keep you being big. And so the fact that she wants to change now, one or two things are going to happen. Either he's going to leave her because he wants a big girl and he's not going to tolerate that, or he's going to do whatever he can to sabotage her to keep her fat. Like, that's one of the two things that's going to happen. And there's no way that they stay together if she goes on this journey and loses weight. So, I mean, he's trying to be supportive right now, but he just admitted, like, he's not excited about it.
Biggest concern most of the time is, are you going to change once you lose all this weight?
In this scene, so much is revealed about the relationship when he says he's not excited about her weight loss.
What I'm really worried about is if he found me in a BBW social media group and I lose the weight and I'm not so big anymore, how is he really going to feel about me?
She fears that if she loses the weight, then Lawrence will no longer be attracted to her since he was online specifically looking for obese women.
I mean, yeah, that's exactly true. I mean, he's not going to stick around. He's going to go find another big woman that he can con into, letting him live with her. I mean, it sounded like he was just lounging around, took advantage of the fact that she was overweight, and, he didn't have to pay for nothing. He didn't have to do nothing. He could just lay in bed with her and feed her, and, there's no sexual connection that they had. It was all around food.
Houston, Syreeta calls him out for being an enabler in front of Dr. Now, and he can't even look up to face the heat.
That's not being an enabler. That's
It is an enabler.
You're bullying him to feed you, and you call that the enabler.
But Dr.
That's true too. I mean, it's that's the whole connection of their relationship. It's food. He enables her because he wants her to stay big, but at the same time is she's gonna bully him, right? Like, she knows she can get him to get her whatever she wants. So she's on this journey now, but that whole dynamic between the two of them is not healthy.
Now says Lawrence is not an enabler. Rather, Syreeta just bullies him into doing whatever it is she wants.
I do not bully him.
So what does he have to say about that? Am I right?
The couple ends up laughing it off together, and it seems like they're able to bounce back under the pressure.
My goal is to make the workouts fun. So I like playing games with Lawrence or just having a good time going for a walk.
After meeting with Dr. Now, the couple goes to the park and play volleyball and walk around.
We should go run up that hill. You could do it. You could do it. Okay, look at you. Go, Syreeta, go, baby.
When he walks her up the hill, giving her encouragement every step of the way, it's almost like a metaphor for how they're willing to tackle this uphill battle together.
You made it.
I honestly can't help but cheer alongside her.
The past few months have been pretty hard, but I know I've made progress, and I hope it's enough to get approved for weight loss surgery.
Syreeta puts in 3 solid months of non-stop work towards her goals.
At my last
Let's really hope that she did it, and if he's turning around too and realizing, like, I really need to stop feeding her and has been holding her accountable, and they've been working on this together and working out and improving what they eat, then yeah, she's gonna be successful. Let's see.
appointment, I was 603, and Dr. Now gave me a goal of losing 60 pounds over the next 2 months. So if I did that, I would be down to 543 today.
But after getting back to Dr. Now's office and pulling her purse and cell phone out of her bra, the scale reveals that she didn't work as hard as she thought she did.
Nope. Wow. I mean, yeah, he sounds like he continues to feed her. And I'm not putting all that on him.
So what happened to the diet instruction we gave you? Did you read?
I hit that on accident. But yeah, I mean, it sounds like he continued to enable her. And I'm not putting all that on him. Like, she chose what she put in her mouth and decided to eat. So I mean, that's on both of them, really.
I read it a couple times because I was showing.
A couple times. The deal was you read it every night. The normal weight for your height is 140 pounds. You're almost 4.5 times that. If you think losing 6 pounds a month is good progress, if you're going to do that, it's going to take you 6 to 7 years to lose that weight. And that is assuming you stick with it.
She and Dr. Now get into an argument in the office because he doesn't think losing 12 pounds a month is nearly enough.
You know, instead of being 140, you're not 240, you're not 340, you're not 440, you're not 540, you're 591. This is your weight on you. But right now, you're killing yourself with food, and you don't seem to get that. And I'm not sure your family is getting that too.
He really lays into her and tells her that she won't be living longer if she keeps killing herself with food. What do you think? Can Syreeta pull through and lose the weight needed to get her weight loss surgery, or will she fall victim to her former habits and remain obese forever?
I mean, yeah, I always cheer him on, like, no matter who they are. I'm even cheering on Steven Asante. Like, I know he's a big douchebag or whatever, but let's cheer the guy on. Like, let's hope that he becomes successful and he gets things turned around. And the same for Syreeta here. Like, she needs to get out of her situation. She needs to find herself a real man who loves her for her, wants to help encourage her and help her lose weight. She needs to get out of that house that's falling apart and full of bugs. That house needs to be condemned, honestly. And yeah, I'm definitely going to keep cheering her on, and I might try to see if I can find any updates on her to see how she's doing today. She's continued to lose the weight, but this is a newer episode, I'm guessing, season 11. I don't know when season 11 premiered. I haven't been keeping track of it. I haven't been watching it as it's been airing, but anyways, yeah, leave a like, leave a comment, let me know what you think about this video, and I guess I'll see you guys next time, and hope you have a great weekend. God bless you.